what's up YouTube? I'm here on Discord today with one of my one-to-one membership members. Just going over some of the market. He's been with me for a little bit now. First was just going obviously the fundamentals, what he wanted out of the market, and now we're actually going to go over some of the technicals. If you mind introducing yourself?
Hi guys, my name's Ross Johns. Like Sonny said, I've been a part of his mentorship program for about a week now. I'm just looking to learn how to trade, take advantage of some of these opportunities. He's going to be helping me understand some of the basic trading information that he has discovered over his time and help me expand my own fundamental skills on trading.
Fantastic, thank you. So as we went over just a minute ago, like I said, what is it you really know about the market so far then, Ross?
So all I can say is I just know a handful of basic terms like your high lows, your low highs, your candlestick figures, your stop losses, and just a few other basic knowledgeable terms. But I've seen some of your TikTok videos and I decided to reach out to you to help me understand more of the basics.
Okay,
So
yeah.
that's
So
pretty much why
obviously,
I'm
as we
here.
went over before, what you really want from trading and stuff. Obviously, looking to make some money in a minute. But in terms of your trading, obviously, you're a little bit stuck with actually understanding how to go through it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to teach you some of the technicals on my strategy. Obviously, there's many different strategies for your listeners out there that you can actually go and learn from. Ross, like he said, he's obviously seen some of my videos and stuff. He likes my strategy. So what I'm going to do is just go over my strategy with him at the moment, just give him the basics, and then be asking him questions along as well. So if anyone who's actually watching, if you like this type of content as well, then you can more than happy to reach out. I'll be happy to help some other people as well. So Ross, the basics of obviously how I trade is pretty much swing trading. Okay, you've obviously got three different types of trading. You've got your scalp trading, day trading, your swing trading. Okay, scalp trading is obviously you're looking on the, let's say from the 1 to 5 minute chart. You're trying to get your, sorry, 1 second. Yeah, okay, so you're looking at the 1 to 5 minute chart, trying to look to get your quick moves in the market, get in and get out. Okay, it's your scalp. Then you've got your day trading, which day trading is obviously a lot more. You're looking for your bigger time frames, maybe your 15, your hour, your 4 hourly time frames, maybe even touch over just on the daily time frame as well to see where you think the market's going to go. And then you've got your intraday trading, which is usually like your weekly, your daily 4 hour time frames. Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
So with your type of trading, when it comes to obviously time, you said you're working at the moment, you're doing you're building stuff. When roughly would you say you've got time to actually look at the charts?
I would say it would have to be at the end of the day, as I'm hands-on at work all day. I get home early afternoon, and then that's when I'm more hands-on and available to understand everything.
Okay, yeah. So just going over some of the stuff, you're not being able to obviously sit in front of your screen for hours a day, right?
Yes, yeah, that's
Okay, so
correct.
something you're looking for something a little bit more like day trading or swing trading, where you can place a trade, go about your day, obviously do your work, and then come back later on and see if you've hit take profit or stop loss, that type of stuff. Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Fantastic. So yourself, obviously, I got you to make a trading view account for yourself a moment ago. Have you got the charts up?
Yes. I do indeed.
Okay. If you go over, so you don't necessarily go in it. If you just tap on the screen, the main screen, and you type up GBP USD.
Okay, 1 second.
GBP.
GBP USD.
Okay, so it should
Yes.
give you a list of obviously Great British Pound USDs and their different brokers. Okay,
Yes.
for this example, because I use IC markets, if you just look down on the right side and look for IC markets,
Yes.
all you
Forex
have to
IC
do,
markets. Yep.
yeah, if you just click on that one,
Yep.
it should pull up that screen for yourself, which will be the same as mine. And if you go over to the weekly time frame at the very top of your screen, you should see time frames. Do you see that?
I don't.
No. At the very top of your screen, you know it says at the top left it says GBP USD.
Yeah.
Yeah, on to just to the right of
Oh, it
that.
says 1 day.
There you go. Yeah, it should say 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, whatever it says for
Yeah, I
you.
see that. Yes.
Do you see a W for weekly time frame or no?
I
It's fine if it's
do
not there.
not.
You should see a little arrow, down pointing arrow. If you click onto that and then scroll down, you should be able to get to 1 week. It should say weekly time frame.
I am on 1 week.
There you go. Click onto that for me, and then you'll be on the same
Yes.
time frame as myself. So if you can zoom out a little bit, make yourself obviously comfortable with your screen.
Yep.
So in terms of how my strategy works, it is support and resistance. Okay, so support and resistance obviously work through buying and selling power. Support and resistance is, for example, you can see my screen, can't you?
I can, yes.
Exactly. So support and resistance, as you can see, levels that can be used as support and resistance are these type of levels here, as I'll point out for yourself now. So a level like this, we use as support and resistance, which you can see multiple touches of this zone. Okay, so you've got one
Yes.
here, one here, one here. Okay, the touches of a certain zone can be used as support and resistance. Obviously, if the market's coming up to the zone, that's used as resistance. If it's coming down to the zone, it's bouncing off it, it's used as support to continue to the upside.
Okay.
Okay, so on the weekly time frame, what direction on my screen does it look like we're heading in?
Weekly time frame, I would say,
Just from this move here, what way do we look like we're heading? Up or down?
I would say down,
Okay, why would you say down?
because I'm looking at the pattern across that middle section, and it's already at its high, I would think, and the next possible way for it is to go down.
Okay, that's fine. Obviously, that's where your your mind is at the moment. Just going over what I said as support and resistance. Obviously, you've got your highs and your lows, right? So, in terms of your highs, obviously you class this as a low, correct?
Yes.
You class this as a high, right?
Yes.
And this would be classed as a what?
I would class that as a low,
As a low. Okay, and what would this be classed as?
a high,
What about this?
also a low,
Okay, and then this?
a high.
Okay, so what are we doing here? We're creating what? Higher highs and lower highs. That makes
Higher
sense?
highs and lower. Yes, that actually, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so we're creating higher highs and lower highs. So what direction are we heading
Ah, okay, so we're still going up, so we're going to be hitting more lower highs.
in? There you go. So you see this type of move, most people would think, all right, we're gonna start to reverse, or we're gonna start going down there because they see a big shift to the downside. But in
Yeah,
actual fact, as you can see here, what are we creating?
lower highs.
Lower highs and higher highs. Bang,
Yeah.
higher high. So this could obviously come back down and retest this zone just here. And what does that match up with perfectly? This high high right here.
Um, the
Matched up with this high high right here. No, look. Come
yeah,
back down, touching what? Touching this high high, which could be used as
touching that
what?
high high.
Support.
That can be used as support.
Exactly. So if that does come back down and we get a little bit of motion in this area here, we could see that potentially we could continue to be going where?
Up.
Up. Exactly. So what we'll do then is obviously we've got a weekly time frame bias. Okay, what the bias is specifically is where we think the market's going to go for either the week, the day, the next 4 hours, or the hour. So we've got a bias for the hourly time frame. Okay, so for the
Okay.
hourly time frame, we're in an uptrend. Okay.
Yeah.
So then what you would do is you look to go to the daily time frame, and you'd see what we're doing on the daily time frame. So the daily time frame
The
is typically a lot of the same, and we're creating higher highs, lower highs, higher highs, lower high, higher high. Okay.
are the trends always different on each time frame?
So depending on realistically, if you're looking at the weekly time frame, the daily time frame would be something similar. The 4 hourly can be something similar as well. And then when you start getting to a smaller time frame, there's a lot more commotion. You see,
Yeah.
so you could class this as a downtrend because look what we're doing. We're creating lower highs
Yeah.
and higher lows now. You know. So what I
That makes
like to
sense.
do is what we get into is you go from the daily time frame, yeah, and you find out if we're hitting a zone that could potentially give some support, which here we can see it can. So as you can see, obviously we've created a big push down to this support level. And if we start to see a little bit of resistance here, we could see something maybe on the far hourly time frame to suggest that we could continue going up. Okay,
Okay.
and that's when you start getting into confirmation patterns and stuff like that. But at the moment, we just want to go over the trends in the market and make sure you understand the weekly, daily, and 4 hourly time frame, how them being in sync can help you with making decisions.
Yep, makes
Okay,
sense.
so just going over
Would you say your decisions are heavily based on a time frame?
my decisions are heavily based off of the for currency pairs. My current trading strategy is based off of the daily, 4 hourly, and the hourly time frame. I use these obviously to determine which way I think the market's going to go. Obviously, you can't be
Okay.
100% right. It's not always going to continue in the path you think it's going to be just because it's creating this pattern. That's why you have to wait for confirmations. That's why you have to use stop losses and you take profit and stuff like that as well, which we'll get onto at a later date. But for this example, because you're quite fresh to it, we just want to get an understanding of how the market moves, basically.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So you can see, obviously, we've come back down to this level of resistance slash support here as well. You see it was used as resistance here to make its way back down to create the lower low. It's broken through. It was used as support here as well to push up higher, and it's come back down to the same level again. Usually, I'd like for it to come down to the previous higher high, but it did just break straight through that and it's come down to this level, so you could use this as support. So what I would look for is a confirmation type pattern now. So you can see we've obviously made this bit of a loop here, and then we've got an engulfing candle here. Going a little bit more in depth, obviously this is with confirmation and stuff like that. It's a little bit more.
And could you just explain to me what those candlesticks are and what they represent?
So you want to understand candlesticks again? Yeah, of course, no problem. So in terms of the candlesticks, this one candlestick here represents a day. Because I'm on the daily time frame, each candlestick represents one day.
Okay.
Yeah. If I was on a weekly time frame, each candlestick represents 1 week.
1 week.
Okay, and so on with the 4 hourly time frame. This was 4 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours. Hourly time frame, hour, 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 hour. Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously, with the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, the last week we went straight down. If we go over to the weekly time frame, like I said, this last week that we had was obviously down, but the previous 2 weeks were up. We had another down week here. These two was a little bit stagnant, but you can see how it does work off of like support and resistance and creating higher highs and lower highs. Correct. So going over patterns and stuff is obviously a little bit more in detail, but this is just the basics of my strategy anyway. So what I'd usually wait for once it does come down to a support zone or resistance zone is I would wait for something I call a confirmation. So my type of confirmations I like to use are evening stars, and you've got your engulfing candles. Okay, so an engulfing candle is, for example, is this here. So you can see you've got your red candle here, and the next candle after it completely engulfed this whole candle. Okay, which shows that there's buying pressure. Okay, so usually once you get that sort of confirmation, you'd go long at this candle here, put your stop loss underneath, and you would target a 1 to 2 or previous highs. That makes
Yep,
sense.
that makes sense.
So you would have hit TP there. Obviously, this is the daily time frame. They are quite big. Obviously, drop down to the 4 hourly time frame. You can see here. Was anything this come back down into this zone? We've got an engulfing candle here. You could have put your position like this here. Long position, for example. Stop loss just underneath. Something like that for a 1 to 2. Yeah, you would hit TP.
Yeah. And it is clear that I can see that there's more commotion going on with the lower time frames.
Exactly, yeah. So obviously as you go down in time frames, just a lot more information for you to have to understand. and
Yeah.
then you've got all this extra stuff that you need to try and understand. This is why it's okay for scalping, but if you're looking to day trade, intraday trade, or swing trade, you're going to use the higher time frames and just get a general bias of the market in overall. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So can you show me again, just to recap, this section where it would hit resistance?
Yeah, okay, so you can see my screen, right?
It's
Okay, so we'll go to another chart. So, for example, on the daily time frame, you can see this as a level of resistance. Come up to this level once, it dropped. Come up to this level again, dropped again. We've managed to break
again.
past this level now, and now it's come back
So
down
that's
to the
it's
retest.
breaking past the resistance and it's
Okay,
come
so
back down to it.
exactly, so it's come back down to it. So now you now could use this as support.
Okay.
Does that
Yeah,
make
that makes
sense?
sense.
Okay. Obviously, there are a few cuts in the YouTube video. I can't give out too much information to you people. If you guys do want a full in-depth video, then just leave a message in a comment. But whatever I can, if there's any new stuff I'm going over, I will cut the video just to go over some extra stuff with him as well, just to make sure he does fully understand. But yeah, like I said, how you can use that is as support and resistance. Same thing with the 4 hourly time frame as well. You can see that it come up to this zone, bounced that, went up, come back up again, bounced down again, just broken it. Now it come back down to the same level again. Okay. In terms of how you can also use EMA and stuff like that to get a bit more of an understanding, this might be a little bit more technical for yourself, but these are my
EMA, what does that stand for?
EMA stands for exponential moving average.
Okay.
Okay, so it just takes an average of the candles and gives you a like a line. Okay, on the chart, which you can use as support and resistance as well, as you can see here, bouncing off the EMA, bounce off the EMA, bounce off the EMA. You know, bounce off the EMA, bounce off the EMA here. Okay, so it's kind of used as support as well. See it here, see it here as well. So what I'd like to do when I'm going for a trade, if it's a perfect trade, what you'd look for is obviously a support or resistance zone, the market coming back down to test that support or resistance zone. We get some sort of confirmation of that support or resistance zone, either with a bullish engulfing or evening star, morning star, or even a head and shoulders pattern, which we'll touch on in a moment. Alongside with that, if that does touch the EMA line as well, it's another good example. And if we are at a round psychological level, so you see on my chart here, you've got 0.67500. If it was to come to that level, or if it was to come to 0.67000 and touch a level like that, you could use that as a round psychological level. Look, just hovering over this level just here, you can see that previous market before had bounced off of it. How many times? Let me add this horizontal ray for you. Look, that's not a coincidence. Not once, twice, 3 times. See?
Yeah, I see
4
that.
times. You could just extend it the whole way out, and you can just see that it just keeps bouncing off this level. They're not coincidental levels. You can use these levels to actually implement with your trading strategy to help you make money. So understanding that is quite important as well. But going over what I'd say is a head and shoulders pattern, which is my main pattern to show a reversal. So let's say we are on the weekly time frame. As you can see at the moment, we was obviously heading to the downside, correct?
Yeah.
What I'd say is a head and shoulders pattern is this here. So you can see you got your left head, you got your head, your body, you got your right shoulder, and then this. This is called a head and shoulders pattern. So it
Okay,
breaks.
so
Yeah, so it breaks, creates a left shoulder, sorry, creates a head,
yeah.
creates a right shoulder, and it's
Yeah.
continuing its way down. So you can see that the momentum is kind of shifting from going up to going down. So what you would try and look for is once it does create this, you try and look for it to retest this level just here. Okay, so if it does retest and give you any one of them confirmations that it wants to continue to the downside, you could see a reversal potentially. So inside
Okay.
the market, for example, you have to obviously try and spot this. Obviously, it's not going to be as clean as this. But for
It'll
example,
be harder to spot.
of course. But for example, you can see you got your left head, your head,
Yeah.
your right shoulder, breaks underneath, comes back up and retests. What is it? Retest?
Okay. So they can be quite spread out, the patterns, the head and shoulder
It can
patterns.
be quite spread out. Yeah, we're on the weekly time frame. What did it retest? What's this
Oh,
line?
wait.
The line I just told you. The EMA. Come back up as retested
Oh,
the
oh,
EMA.
that blue line's the EMA.
Exactly, yeah, blue line's EMA. It's come back up, retest EMA. Look what it did, dumped.
Okay, it's dump
So
EMA.
if I put out
Okay.
this line, what have you got? Look. What's that? What does that look like?
That looks like the head and shoulders.
Head and shoulders. So that's also how we can use head and shoulders pattern to determine if a trend is looking to switch or not. That
Can
was
you
obviously
get
the EMA.
multiple head and shoulder patterns in one time frame, in one trade?
Um, Depends on whether or not you're on the daily time frame or if you're not on the daily time frame. Sometimes, obviously, it's not 100%. It's not always going to work. You have to get good at actually spotting this. For example, so can you see the head and shoulders in here or not?
In that section,
Hang on a second. In this section just here, can you see it?
no, there is not. There's n I cannot see.
Can't see it.
Oh, I can.
Can I point
I
this
think
out
I
here?
can see it.
Bing.
Yeah, that's the left shoulder head, and then that's the right shoulder. Yeah, I can see that.
And then retest of this side. No. What did that
Yeah,
retest?
the EMA
Retest is the bottom. And it's in the EMA. And then where did it go? Bang.
straight back down. Yeah,
You know? So there can be multiple, obviously depending. This is a daily time frame. So it would have taken a while to form this. Do you know what I mean? It would have taken all of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Over probably a month to form this. You know? So you
yeah.
can look for head and shoulders patterns as well. Once you've got the daily time frame and you think, right, we're going to go to the upside or downside, you can use a 4-hourly time frame, see if you can find. Can you see one here?
I can.
Should I look? Bang,
Right. Yeah, left shoulder,
bang,
top of the head, right shoulder.
bang,
Yeah,
boom.
and
Same
then
shit.
drops.
Same shit. So you can use these type of patterns. Obviously, I'm just going over this briefly with you, and people are listening as well. You can just get an understanding of it, but you will have to practice this. This is practice. You don't
And
just come in here.
can you are you able to can you tell me what the head and shoulder pattern, how that would help me in a trade, or does that just help me sort of predict a pattern, what's going
Yeah,
on?
so the head and shoulders pattern is a way to understand which way you think the market's going to go. So it can
Okay.
give you a little bit of information on the market. So like I said, if it's this way, you get head and shoulders this way. Where do you think the market's more likely to go?
Um,
To the downside. And if you
yeah,
get it the other way, where do you think the market's more likely to go?
to the outside.
To the upside. You can even see one here. Look. Left. Bang. Bang. Where's it gone? Boom.
Oh.
You see? So it just gives you a bit of information of which way the market could potentially go. So let's say you get your bias on your weekly. You think, okay, the market's going to go down. You get your bias on the daily. You're like, okay, the market's going to go down. You go onto the 4-hourly time frame and you see this. Start to see this pattern form. Yeah. How you would use it, obviously you would see the left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Okay, once it breaks, if it does come up to retest this level, is when you would want to get in. So it come back up, as you can see on this 4-hourly candle here. What did it retest? The neckline.
Yeah.
See? It broke past. Broke underneath here. You see it's broken past the neckline. What did it do? This candle come from retested what?
Neckline.
The neckline. And then where did it go?
It dropped onto the EMA and it's
Dumped.
dropped into.
just dropped into this zone here.
Yeah.
So even on the hourly time frame, you see it dropped, broke structure here, came back up, boom. So that is a way, obviously, you can use that to your advantage, is just to help you with the trend. So if you think the market's going to go down and you see a head and shoulders pattern, obviously it's not 100%. Okay, that's not going to be 100%. That's why you stop loss, that's why you take profit. But that can give you a bit more of an indication of which way you think the market's going to go. That makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Fantastic. So obviously we're going to go over some extra stuff in a little bit more detail. This was obviously just for the YouTube. Have you got any questions or anything that I might be able to help them out for people who are watching?
No, I think along the way you've answered questions that I've had, so I'm starting to gain a more sort of understanding of these basics. So thank you, I appreciate it.
No worries. So we're going to obviously go over some extra stuff in a moment. To the people on YouTube, if you do like this type of content, just leave a like. Obviously subscribe, it does help me out. And if anyone wants to reach out to me and see if I can obviously help them out as well, let me know. Until then, peace. Thank you, Ross.